most of you don't know each other. And if you think of a Venn diagram box with circles, and sometimes they overlap, well, there's one constant here where you all overlap, and that is you're all Lila's friends. I'm glad you're here, and glad that you're here to help Lila celebrate her birthday. She's 70 today. I had a birthday a few weeks ago, and I had like 6 or 8 people. I'm not a big party person, but Lila kind of raised like this. I put together all my adrenaline and everything to try to plan a party for her, and I appreciate you coming out and showing your support and your love for her. So because you're Lila's friends, you are also each other's friends, and I hope you have a great time together getting acquainted with old friends and new friends here today. There's several stages in life that are important, kind of milestones. Lila used to work with ADRA, and she managed maternal child health programs, child survival programs, and she learned in that work that there are several important milestones. One is 1 year old. If a child can survive until they're 1 year old, they have a good chance of carrying on. But the next milestone is 5. So children 1 to 5, if you can reach 5, you probably have a good chance of thriving and growing into adulthood. Those are sort of cutoff points. Well, Lila started out life, and you probably, most of you, even though you're her friends, don't know this, but she was born as a British citizen. She was born in the territory of Britain that's known as Newfoundland, Canada. 2 months after she was born, they had a plebiscite in Newfoundland, and they decided whether to go with stay with England, to be an independent country, or to go with Canada. If they had known that they had oil, they might have decided to be independent. They chose Canada, so Lila became a Canadian 2 months after she was born. And it's a rough climate up there, but somehow through all the challenges of life up there in a little village way out in the middle of nowhere in Newfoundland, she lived to the age of 5. She's thriving, and she's still going strong. She has. Although the next milestone after that is the age of 12. It's kind of where you're leaving childhood and you think you're an adult. But all the enthusiasm she had as she entered the teenage years, it's somehow never worn off. She's still as enthusiastic about life as she was when she was a teenager. She actually turned 12 in the country of Sri Lanka, which was called Ceylon in those days. That's where her parents were missionaries. And a year later, we met at school at Vincent Hill School in India, a school that no longer exists. There's quite a few people here today who knew us from Vincent Hill, and several who've known us from different places in life, Thailand, even some people who knew us in college. The next milestone in life would be 18. Age 18, Lila graduated from high school, but she wasn't really an adult then, because the adults you couldn't vote until you were 21 when she was 18. And the year that they changed the law and then allowed you to vote at 18, she was 22, and she got married that year in Berrien Springs, Michigan, and she happened to marry me, which was very fortunate for me. Another milestone in speaking of maternal child health is the age of 15 to 45. That's what they call the childbearing age for women. And Lila had some milestones during that time, about middle, not at 15 and not at 45, but somewhere in the middle there. She had 2 sons. They were both born in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So she reached that milestone. I don't know what the milestone are after that, but I think it might be 70. I know she started Social Security this year, so I guess that's a milestone. And so here she is. And she hasn't lost the enthusiasm she had as a child. I think the body sometimes may not have the same enthusiasm as the mind, but she's still here. And so what's next? 70, that's the Bible says you get 70 and 10 years. Is that the end? Well, if you know Lila, I think you know there's no chance. She's going to be around for a good long time, and I'm so happy about that. I have just a few little quotations I'd like to share with you about being 70. Golda Meir, the former Prime Minister of Israel, said being 70 is not a sin. So Lila, be reassured, you're okay. Don't need to feel guilty about that. Helen Hayes, an actress, said the hardest years in life are those between 10 and 70. So Lila, it's all downhill from here. And George Eliot, the novelist and writer, he said, the years between 50 and 70 are the hardest. You're always being asked to do things, and yet you're not decrepit enough to turn them down. Lila, now you can start turning things down. The French actor Maurice Chevalier, he said, the French are true romantics. They feel the only difference between a man or a woman of 40 and one of 70 is 30 years of experience. So, Lila, you've got a lot of experience now to carry you on to the next stage. Oliver Wendell Holmes, and this isn't the Supreme Court justice. This is his father. He said, "To be 70 years young is sometimes far more cheerful and hopeful than to be 40 years old." Loretta Swett, and I think this really applies to Lila, she said, "If you're 70 and look good in a miniskirt, go for it. What is age appropriate? Such nonsense. My mother lived to 106, so what's middle age? 70 is the new 50. Dorothy Thompson, a journalist, said age is not measured by years. Nature does not equally distribute energy. Some people are born old and tired, while others are going strong at 70. I think Lila's in the latter category. And finally, Donald McGavran, the missiologist and missionary to India in his younger years, said, "Since I reached the biblical 70, I consider each day a special bonus from God." I think we can all kind of relate to that. Most of us, not me though. Anyway, so glad you're here, and thank you for your presence. And I don't mean the presence over there, but your presence here in this room today. And Lila would like to say a few words, but before she does, her sisters sent some trappings that they said be sure and get Lila to wear. So Lila, we're